money, yeah, we talk about it. Facebook, yeah. IG, Twitter, wherever. So, it's really there. You can catch CEOs with King C. Talking about the hot topics, my girl. Yeah. With King C. Talking about the hot topics.
That's all you gotta do. Rangers, you already know what time it is. Come on, Tiger. You're in a new place. It's a brand new year. After you get to a new place. Shine. Jump in. Don't fear. For I'm with you. Be not dismayed, but I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will hold you with my right hand. Don't worry about it. I got your back. Don't worry about it. Do not fear. I'll take care of you. Just jump in. Jump in. Jump in. I said jump in. Jump in. Jump in. Jump in. You better grab somebody's hand and tell them. Jump in. Jump in. Jump in. Don't.
So somebody asked me, was that real life? Listen, over at Kingdom, that's every Sunday. They jump in every Sunday. I want to give a shout out to Kingdom Builders out of Pompano Beach, Florida. They have two locations now, one in Lake Worth, Florida, and the other one in Pompano Beach, Florida. But you can also watch them virtually every Sunday. Kingdom Builders Worship Center. Cheryl Powell is the pastor, her and her twin sister, and they have a mighty good time every time they come together. So listen, without further ado, because this is the after party, I'm bringing in Miss Lady Tamina Curtis. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kenya?
I am good. So listen, everybody knows I tell the story every time I talk about you. When I first became president of it was the GAG back then. When I first became president, I didn't know anyone, and Pepe Hendricks had sent me to Atlanta, not knowing nobody. I didn't know nobody. It was like, oh my God, Pepe, what are you doing? He said, I need you to go to Atlanta and represent your alliance. And I was like, I don't know nobody. So Michael Lee pulled me to the side. He was like, listen, find Tamia Curtis. I was like, well, how do I know? He showed me the picture. He said, find her. I said, well, what did she tell me? Leave her alone. He said, she won't. He said, she good. She all right for a good picture. So I was like, so what I did was, instead of like just walking up on her, I studied her for like 2 to 3 weeks. And as I started to study her, I started learning about the music industry. It came so easy. So that's why I always, anytime I say anything, I always say, I got this information from Lady Tamia. I've always said that, like, I got this from her, because the Smoke and Mirrors, I truly miss them, because they taught me the industry, because she would pop on in the middle of the day. I'm at work. I don't know about it at work. Listen, I'm at work and I got my headphones in. I should be at work. I'm on, I work in the call center, and I'm like, okay, so how am I ready to do this? So I got the AirPod, pulling my hair over it, taking down notes. And I really wish I'd have brought my tab. I have notes and notes and notes, because I would go back and I would listen to what she said. And anytime I do a conference, anytime I did anything anywhere, someone would say, hey, can you come speak? I say, listen, this information is brought to you by Lady T. Put your phone out, and I need you to go follow her. Anywhere I've spoken, no matter where it is, I always tell people, pull your phone out and go follow her. Go follow her. And I guess she probably was like, this girl got all these people just following me and liking me. But it's just what I was taught by her, that you have to pay homage to people that are teaching you, because we'll stand up at a podium and say it's all us, and it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. It was smoke and mirrors. It was jump on real quick in the middle of the day, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, why is this girl not asleep? I get a notification. I'm like, I'm up. So I just want to publicly say again, I know you probably say, this girl tell me this. I want to thank you, because you are industry and you have taught me so much. Everything that I've learned through, and I kind of want you to bring Smoke and Mirrors back. I know you said you're doing bigger things, but
So it's a possibility with this Stella Public round that we may do a little something for smoking mirrors. So keep your fingers crossed.
I need everybody. Listen, so I can't determine for some reason Facebook is not showing viewers, and I don't know what's going on. But everybody that's on, I need you guys to do me a favor and show some hearts and love that maybe. Wait a minute. Wait. So reach in the Dean, say hey, and Dominique side say yes, smoking mirrors. So that's
She would.
we are touching and agreeing that you're bringing smoke. I'm telling you, I remember I drove to Atlanta to a birthday party, and I actually listened to Smoke and Mirrors all the way there. I'm like listening, and people was like, "Who is T.M.?" And you taught me that I have to learn how to say things because you was like, I burned a lot of bridges because the way I talk, so I had to learn that. So you did. You did. You were like my mentor without being my mentor.
Wow.
Look, you're like, I got an ebook out. I'm like, we're gonna get this ebook. I'm like, as soon as you drop it, I'm like buying it. And I know you probably said, this girl is like really stalking me because like every time you say something, I'm like, let me see, But it was just
But
that.
you know what, Kenya, there's a difference in your approach than most people. And I share that I'm an introvert, right? And being that I'm an introvert, usually people that are kind of like in your face with it, it scares the Hades out of me. My mom is on, so I'm gonna say Hades, right? And so it's like, okay, your approach was to me very honorable, and it reminded me of me. Like I said, my mom is on, so to some degree, I am the tree that's standing on her roots. To some degree, I'm the fruit of her tree. And that was something that she always taught me to do, not to go places to be seen, but be observant, to listen, to glean, to hear. And then when asked or if asked, she would always say, lay them out in 5 minutes or less, like as if I'm preaching. And so that always stuck with me. So people that approach me kind of sort of like you did, it makes it easier and not as, because when you got to people and do stuff like that, introverts, it takes us a minute to adjust and stuff. So no, you've always been extremely honorable, extremely respectful of time, like all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, and the scary thing, guys, let me tell you the scary thing. Now, I do want to send a shout out to Mama Curtis because when I went into the room to sign up everything, I was like shy and all that. She said, "Girl, get over here." And then they stripped me down. It was like, "I love your necklace. I love your brooch. I love this." So I was like taking off earrings and everything, leaving it in Atlanta when I got there. But what really like shocked me was you came and sat to the table. I was like, oh my God, why did she just do this? I can't even eat. You feel Carter and your friends. You was like, who's sitting with you? I was like, nobody. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This woman just came and sat to this table with me. You brought all your friends. Even when Larry Reed was with you, and I was like, oh my God, this lady is just bringing all of the big people around. And again, I, at that time, was just getting into it. I was kind of like not forced, but I was like, hey, listen, I need you to take over because I got some other things to do. So I need you to just do this. And you made the transition from just being a person that sit in meetings and scared to talk. You made that transition so much easier with the education that you've given me. And I always say this, anytime you come to my platform, and you know it because people tell you, I give it all to T-Mill Curtis. And I want to thank Michael because of Michael, he said, listen, Kenya, you got to find T-Mill Curtis. I'm like, if I find this woman, she's going to be like, who are you, and mace me? He's like, find her. I was like, let me research her first so that I can, get to understand it. And so the wealth of information that comes from you at all times, some people just get on and just ramble on about stuff. They have no clue what they're talking about. Anytime you've gotten on this platform, Facebook or anywhere, you have always had a wealth of information. So when you say jump on, when it goes to 93 people, that's because you're giving out something that we need. Those are the nuggets. But I just got a question to ask you. And this is what, I say I have a lot of questions, but this is one question. So this thing, and I seen this live you were doing, this thing where I don't own the rights to the music.
So here's what a lot of people have been doing, and they don't realize that you are admitting to the fact that you're breaking the law. Facebook is just moving into what's known as a digital distribution system or a digital streaming platform. DSP is how it's known. DSP is Spotify, it's Apple Music, it's Pandora. And then they're different. It's on stream as far as your on demand, and then it's the live streaming, those things. So what happened was people was making Facebook accountable for stuff that there wasn't accountable for. And for an artist or a songwriter, if you're signed to a label, if you're indie, any type of pro situation you have, a pro is who goes after publishing for your music being played. Facebook became liable for that, and they was telling people like, hey, we can't do this. It's not our job to pay into the in a sense the income that you receive. And so they started blocking stuff and doing different stuff and all this other stuff. So people thought saying I don't own the rights to this music, or the new one that I see is when people say this isn't for like monetary gain, or I'm just playing music for entertainment purposes. Yeah, it's trash is what it is. And so now that we're moving into a place where Facebook now has sanctioned where they will pay into the streaming aspect for licensed video content, right? That's a game changer. And it's making sure at that point that your visual goes through the same chain of command and protocol that your audio does in order for it to qualify.
So once you said that, I stopped doing it. And even when I'm at church, listen, I tell people all the time, if your church at the end start playing some music, I'm cutting it off. For one, I don't want to be blocked by Facebook because I got to go live every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm not putting, I don't own the rights to this music. I don't, it's kind of like people don't get it. Even when I tell them, they don't believe me. I'm like, just like today, I saw a post that you were blocked for something you did back in 2004. Was that
2014? It was 2014. And people, always ask, what do you do to make your eyes chinky? I'm like, wake up. This isn't a fad for me. This is what my mom and my daddy gave me, okay? Black and Negro. And it has been some bot stuff that's going on. But it's also somebody like going through finding, and I'm like, we have lost our mind. Nah.
Wow. So it's Facebook is coming down. So let me ask another question. Do you happen to know, because everybody always call you, they're like, I'm not seeing my likes. What's going on? I mean, I think that people think you're the source to social media, you're the plug. So do you have any idea what's going on with the views now? Because me and another young lady today, I use my tablet, my phones, everything to try to change the views on her live, and it still stayed at 388. Is there something going on with Facebook?
So here's the thing with Facebook now. Facebook has realized how much money they've been losing. Bottom line, right? Facebook realizes the amount of money that they've been losing. And in doing that, what has happened is they're pushing for pages. Because here's what you have to remember. If you have a public page, your public page is a business page. If it's a business page, we need to be conducting business with the platform, right? And so it's moving into a situation where they're pushing for the actual business of those pages to be done. And you can always tell those that have never taken out an ad, those that have never boosted a post on those pages, those that have never used any of the business essential tools that come along with business pages. You can tell because in a sense, there has been a decline based upon the algorithm and the engagement. So the thing is now is to move to having a group and establishing stuff and doing stuff, because while that's happening, the group engagement is popping and stuff is going on in there. And so a lot of people just don't keep up with the know. There are a lot of trends. There are several platforms. There are some platforms that I don't even concentrate on because it's so much to learn. And as quick as you get something, it changes. How do you do this? How do you work that? How do you make it happen? How do you make it pop? What do you do? All of that type of stuff, right? And so that is the thing with Facebook, is for the business pages to do business. And if the business pages do business, you will absolutely see where your engagement, it either levels back off to where it was, or it winds up increasing, because now Facebook sees that you take yourself seriously.
Okay, so because I am streaming this through StreamYard, and I want to thank you. Listen, y'all don't understand. And I'm not just saying this because she's on here. So I found out by StreamYard through Tamil because she was on a show with a coach and they were using StreamYard. And I was like, wow, what is that?
Yeah.
And then she started using StreamYard. So you just don't, sometimes you got to plug into a source of information that you can remotely use to grow. So because I'm using StreamYard, right? And I'm using it in my groups and in this, does that consider me being inside of the business page? Or because maybe I do boost hot topics. So does that consider me, and I have never boosted Keeping It Real in the Gospel, do they consider me a business? Because
I really couldn't answer that one because I haven't looked at your matrix to see what it is and what's happening with it, or like what's going on with it. StreamYard is a sanctioned third party platform. So that would be the business side, to say, hey, I need to set up a consultation so that I can look and see what's what, check it out, look at what your old matrix was, look and see what it is now, see what your algorithm is doing, and then I can better assess it from an analysis and say, okay, so this is what you need to do to make it work.
So I promise y'all I won't keep you long at this party. So listen, here it is, right? The pandemic hit. And then your world just started just changing. So just tell us a little bit about how the T-Mill world changed when the pandemic hit and these churches wasn't familiar with the social media platforms and everything that you were offering, and you just blew up and became the guru.
Well, here's the thing. I was the guru before the pandemic.
Well, yeah, so, you were the guru. You always been the guru.
That's not me saying that in a cocky sense. That's me saying God had already prepared me for what was to come. As you said, I've been using StreamYard on my lives at least the last 6 years, because I wanted to have more than one person that was able to be on a panel discussion if I decided to do that. There were different things that was happening in the like music industry, the way that I knew it, that pushed me and provoked me to go and start doing things differently. Even though this was like before starting a label or working with independent labels and things of that nature, I started digging into the virtual space. I even have my certification in digital marketing. I started doing different things of that nature. So when the pandemic happened, nothing was new and I wasn't caught off guard. And me not being caught off guard put me in a position. I actually just saw something that came up in my timeline, and it put me in a position to receive a phone call. And they said, we want to figure out something that we can do. And it was 3 leaders coming together from different cities. They very good friends. And they was like, we want to figure something out. We still want to be able to do something or whatever. And I listened to what they said. I said, so this is, if you all talking about doing prayer, let's do 7 days of prayer leading up to Good Friday. And then we'll do a virtual 7 last words. And they're looking at me like, what? How does that happen? I got it. I'll put together what the structure looks like, what the plan, you tell me who the people are. And they picked up the phone and called some heavyweights. Bishop T.D. Jakes closed out our 7 days of prayer, right? So it led up to something that from that one event, it started opening doors where they were like, well, no, because the social media strategies that we have, one was in a sense a client. They never use Facebook for their lives. Everything goes to their website. So everyone already going to their website made it easy for them to make the transition of just doing their Instagram and using their website. And so that one event that wound up, and we did things with them for probably almost 4 months, there was something consistently that was happening. That opened the doorway for people to say, hey, well, you already have your e-church set up. Why does my e-church been set up for 5 years? I just haven't had a need to use it. Who set it up? Lady Tamil did. And so it literally created a whole nother stream that has now led to me starting a whole nother leg of the company to still do that, because now the issue is understanding that you have this presence now, whatever you establish. So you have to become a hybrid church, which means what you're doing in-house still has to accommodate the people that have connected themselves to you virtually, because there will be some members, and watch this, some staffs that don't return to your house, but that doesn't mean that they've left the church. So what do you have in place that's going to be conducive enough for that? And it's even branched out beyond just the church world into businesses. What's the digital imprint that you're leaving that people can connect to who you are? Hence why I started doing so many ebooks. Ebooks wasn't my thing, but my audience connects to ebooks. So in knowing that, when I do a workshop, a webinar, there's always an ebook product that's attached to it, because the people want something to take away. So it literally was me doing everything that I was already doing, right? God literally had me hidden in plain sight, literally in a world where it felt like people were telling me a whole bunch of no's, a whole bunch of you can'ts. And I took those no's and just built up my repertoire, built up my expertise, built up my knowledge, so that when he said, there she is, it's time for her to be used, it just made everything an easy transition.
And listen, again, everybody that's on here is saying you're wealth of information. Everybody who's saying here, they're like, hey, bring back smoke and mirrors. But what are we doing now today? I mean, I know that you put out a album this week, right?
Good Friday. So yeah, Dominique was on. I am the marketing director for Vegan Bay Music Group, which is based in Houston, Texas. And Good Friday, the collective drop Sustainer. And it's so crazy. Last year, right before the pandemic, I was in Houston working out something Dominique told me, because I've been trying to get Dominique to release at least a Christmas song for about 4 or 5 years, right? Just do something Christmassy. I love her voice. I love the texture and the tone of her voice. So I was just like, just do something for Christmas. And so when I came down to sit down with her, I had just met her new business partner, and they was telling me what they wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, wow. So while we're working and different stuff like that, Michael Dixon, who is a Grammy-nominated songwriter, amazing vocalist, arranger, all of that. Michael came and picked me up, and we went to lunch. So when we came back, I said, hey, I want you to see the studio, because now you got a place that you can come, you can do this, that, and the other. Not knowing that Mike was on Anthony's bucket list for songwriters to work with, right? So you call me the plug, right? So literally when Mike walked in the building, Anthony is like, and looking at Dominique, she didn't know who he was. And from that, I told them, I said, well, if you all are going to do something, you got to have a summer banger. Because the goal then was to have something ready. Then the pandemic hit. So over the course of a year, Anthony and Dominique took their vision. They sat down with Mike. They wrote some incredible songs. Mike, being about community, told them, I got the singers, I have this, that, and the other. And he brought what's considered his family in with him. So they started laying BGVs. They, deciding who's going to do what, lead what song, this, that, and the other. And here we are a year later. And Vegan Bay Music Group has been fully formed into a record label, from people connecting and finding their tribe and finding a home where creatives can create music their way, right? It's industry standard, but it's done their way without a lot of the restrictions and a lot of the holdbacks. And so the project, I mean, even when you look at the musicians that are on this project, you got Calvin Rogers on drums. You got Jabari Johnson on guitar. You got D.W. Wright on bass. You got Paris Bowens on some of the aux. Zach Fisher is on the album, but he's the producer of the project. It's amazing from beginning to end. The intro was created by Roy Cotton. Like from the first song of the intro into the last song of history, It's jam packed. And I don't just say that because I'm working it. I'm saying that because they've taken a year to actually package and put together something that is amazing, that I'm loving how the industry is embracing them.
And I thank you when she posted it. She said, "Listen, this is a banger. Y'all go out and get it." I am listen. I'm a true supporter. I know I got two iPhones, but I immediately went and got it. And I said, "Wow!" I was listening to it in the van, and I commute a distance to go to work and come home. And I
Yeah,
was like, "This is really a good." I said, "I love this." I said, "Sometimes people will push something because it's them." Even with Tamil, I really appreciate because I always say this. She'll inbox me and say, "Interview this person, little old me." So Tamil, when you want to bring them on, you let me know, send them to me, and we can.
absolutely. If Dominique is still in the room, yeah, can absolutely bring them in and let them plug in from the actual studio so you can see how swank that joker is, because they have a fully functional state of the art studio in Houston, Texas. Is one of the few, and it's definitely one of the few in the country that's completely 100% black owned, right? Not black sponsored because of investment. This is 100% black owned. And so, yeah, absolutely, anytime.
Well, because I have so many airline miles, because the Stella Award got canceled 2 years ago, I make it fly to Houston because I got to find something to do with these points before they expire. Because that
Listen,
was even a blow. That was even a blow when
have
Stella.
everything there. Hear me. Everything is there for if you are a podcaster. They even have what's known as Church in a Box that they're creating. And so as a pastor, you can literally come in and everything that you need, they've put it together from the musicians to the praise and worship leaders that you can use for your virtual presentation. And all you got to do is come preach. You ain't got to worry about the overhead because all the equipment is there. Like everything is set up. It's state of the art. It's fully functional. There's, the actual studio space that you record, but then there's the live performance room that can get flipped out. And like you as a vlogger, if you decided you wanted to just do a couple of months of content and do that, then they have the live sound stage that they just flipped again. So it's like every time you think they're done doing something, they do something different. They do something else. And so, yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I just want to do a virtual tour. I mean that everything you saw, I'm like, wow. I probably can't go to Texas because I work still, and they won't let us travel. But I would love to get in and do a virtual tour because
Yeah.
the church in the box is sounding exciting to me because there are so many churches that don't even have a home that are doing it out of their home. I think that will that's Dominique. She says never finished. Never
Yeah.
finished.
It's never finished. So, like I said, the way that they've just flipped that, and then they're in the process of flipping some of the back rooms and turning them into like creative hubs where you can come in, and if you want to sit down and write, you can sit down and write. If you're looking to collab with people, like literally, it is a state of the art one stop shop that anything from a music or media perspective of what you need done, even down to shooting a whole movie if need be. Like everything can be done on site at Beacon Bay Studios.
So what are we doing? Are we still doing the? I know that you're booked and busy because when you said, "Well, it's 7," I said, "Aren't you in Atlanta?" You said, "No, I'm in Texas." I'm like, "Girl, you still booked and busy during the pandemic. That is a blessing." So are we still doing the classes? Are you still? I mean, I remember one time you said, "I bumped my head. I booked these classes." And I'm still booking them. So are we still doing the consultations? We're still doing everything, or
We're still doing everything. Everything in a sense is expanded. So we still have consultations that we do. We still have webinars. I just had, taking some time because I like to make sure that when I'm teaching from a perspective of what is and not what was, if that makes sense. And I think so many times, especially on a gospel music scene or a church scene, people only learn enough to teach what was. They don't know what is or what's happening or what can even possibly be happening. So how do you adjust your systems and strategies for that? And so I usually take the first part of the year to do that, to, get my hands in there to go to classes, do webinars. I'll be finishing up school next month where we're doing stuff. And so like it's amazing there. But then we are expanding. Like I said, we're working on finalizing how it's going to be done with the Let's Get Virtual Institute, which is basically teaching businesses and churches, leaders, coaches, consultants, vloggers, influencers, how to have a digital imprint, how to leave a virtual presence. But I'm actually moving now, instead of just doing where I'll be working with one school. There are two schools that I will be working with, and one in particular, I will be teaching the curriculum that I developed for their school, and it's accredited. So it's just, leveling everything out, putting everything where it needs to do. I'm not as hands-on as I once was with services and different things of that nature. Vegan Bay takes up a bulk of my time, and then I still do have my own imprint, We Hear Now music group. And I tell people that my pastor and bishop, he has first priority. So he literally can call me while I'm in the midst of working, and everything has to stop to make sure that his stuff gets done. So as far as being hands-on, I haven't been able to do that, but I absolutely consult. And I also coach where we can get stuff together and help you from a coaching standpoint. This is the strategies. This is what needs to happen. This is how it needs to happen. This is what you need to map out. This is how you put together the team. You tell me what your budget is. The team is put together, and you can run on and see what the end is going to be. Just to be in church.
All right. So I'm just going to ask you this because I didn't want to really get into the music, but I'm seeing that a lot of artists are jumping on it.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem at all. We can get into it.
So the music, I spoke to Derek before coming on. The music, what are you finding with artists that are putting out music today? What are you finding that is missing in that puzzle? I mean, I know that there's people that's doing it in excellence, but there's some that is missing that one little piece. What can you say that piece is?
Business. Actually knowing the business of music. I think there are some amazing creatives, amazing people. They tend to look at labels or gatekeepers and things of that nature as they hold on to the information, or they do this, that, and the other, but they don't understand that there is a standard. And if that standard isn't hit, if that standard isn't reached, anything can happen. Anything is possible. And so actually knowing the business, it's still artists today in 2021 that don't know what metadata is. It's still artists in 2021 that don't have a clue what embedding and encoding is, right? There's still artists in 2021 that don't understand that even if you sign a digital distribution deal, or you use TuneCore, you use DistroKid, you use any of these digital platforms, that is to handle the administration of your music digitally. That has nothing to do with your marketing and promotions. So what's your actual strategy beyond your release weekend, you talking about it, and then by that following Friday, you're done, right? People don't understand the business. It's very few that are even learning the DSP systems, which is the digital streaming platforms. What does that look like? It's it's actually three different type of streams, two in which you can be paid. They don't know that information. And so in not knowing the business and how to operate the business, they're just putting music out. They're using false humility. I just want to do this for the glory of God. And then when it doesn't go anywhere, they're frustrated and they're mad that nobody supported it. You didn't handle business. So how can people support something that has not properly been, where the vision has been written and the people can see it and run with it?
I know I asked the artist, I said, who is your pro? They're like, what is that? I'm like, there's so many different classes and things that you can take about business and understanding the business. So what is your take? Here it is. I told you I asked some questions. What is your take on covers? I kind of asked Derek the same thing. We've seen a lot of covers that are coming out. I can't say this because I can't say, okay, how can I put it? So covers now, people are thinking, because you know how you said before, just because the song has heaven in it, you don't need to have a heaven on the album. You get what I'm saying? Like, everyone thinks because the song says heaven, it has to be you pointing up to heaven. What is your take on these new way of doing?
Oh, album covers. I thought you meant song covers. So, here's the thing. I think first and foremost, people need to hire photographers that know artist photography, and they need to work with graphic designers that understand artists, imagery, and branding, right? So at one point, the standard was when you did an album cover, a lot of people didn't know why they would see like Kurt Franklin or different ones offset to the right. Well, you were offset to the right on physical copies back in the day because in the top left-hand corner, they put all the stickers when you went in the store. So you would end up having your name covered up or people's faces covered up or something of that nature. They don't know what the project is. So there's a certain way that you, if it was physical copies going into the stores, that there were designs. We tend to have gotten away from that. And a lot of people just throw stuff up in the air and they don't understand aesthetically. It has to compete with what's already out. Because what happens on the DSPs is as you're listening to something, it's going to tell you that this may be something similar. And a lot of times it has to do with the song title and the actual cover of the project. So what does that look like? How is that similar? Something that I love about the collective, with how the collective did it. The collective isn't even a bunch of people that's on the cover. It's a wooden 3D cross with the roses around it that God is a sustainer, right? And so what that does is in the systems, people automatically think evolution, they automatically think Maverick City, the way that the DSPs are putting it, it's giving it a fighting chance because the cover isn't just an artistic expression. Our album cover should never just be about art unless your audience has been built to the point that that artistic expression isn't just seen, but it's understood, right? So gone are the days of a Earth, Wind, and Fire. Gone are the days of a Rance Allen group where their album covers was always either a political statement, it was a religious statement. There was something that was made that their people knowing their music enough and knowing their stance enough that the audience can talk about why the cover looked like this, why the cover looked like that. We don't have those type of audiences anymore. And so we have to make sure that the album covers are actually competing with what's already in the system.
And I'm going to cut this out because they need it. Now, here it is, right? And again, after this, I'm going to let you go. Strange people are just coming up with music and they're just putting songs out. And it may not happen in your world because, you're a little big and they don't really know Tamil, like how they inbox me and say, hey, help me promote this. I'm like, who the heck? Oh, Mama Curtis song. Who in the blue heck are you?
Right. Who in the Hades are you?
Yeah, who in the Hades are you? And how you just gonna ask me, hey, help me promote this? Like I ain't got a real business to promote. And I'm like, okay, well, there's ways you're supposed to ask me. I think personally, I may be wrong. I think the correct way to ask me to do something is, how much do you charge to help me? I may be wrong now. And you've always corrected me. How much do you charge to help me promote my project? Not, hey, I'm putting a project out.
The thing with that is, people don't know how to do social media. So if people don't know how to do social media, people don't know how to approach you on social media, right? And artists feel like I'm mean or I'm no. I have to teach you how to want to do business with me, which means you cannot dry solicit me in my inbox. And one of the worst things that you can do is send me a copy and paste and you haven't changed the wording in the copy and paste to ask me to promote or to do something. It'll never get done. And you possibly are going to get blocked in my inbox. My inbox is not where I do business, right? And so people have to be taught how to conduct business with us. In that regard, something that I had to get to the point, Kenya, was I had to understand that just because I believed in people, just because I was passionate about what they did, that didn't mean they were my assignment. Me leading with my heart led me to an eviction at the age of 40. Doing stuff because I felt like God was calling me to help people, and I had never established myself as a real business entity. So if you wasn't paying your invoice, that's all right. God was sending the increase and I was still working, and 2 to 3 months in without an invoice being paid. No. At the point that I started conducting myself as a business, This is the proper chain of command. This is how you book your consultations with me. I'll send you a link. These are the days in which I'm available to do consultations. It's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, right? If you need something other than that on a Monday, a Friday, or a Saturday, you're paying extra. If you need me to meet with you because you work a 9 to 5 and you need me to meet you after my business hours, that's something that's extra. And it's taken some years to get to the point where people, for the most part, know how to approach me. But those that don't, usually they don't even know how to do social media right. And it comes across in how they approach you.
Well, and I had to learn that from you that, you cannot just be open for everybody to do business in the inbox. Now, I always reach out to you in the inbox. I know you're busy, so I don't, some people get offended like she didn't answer me. I say, listen, she'll answer me when she can because
Right.
I know you're booked and busy. But let's just go on the 40. So I know you told me that I can't say happy birthday, but I'm going to, because last Saturday you turned 45. 45 is I can't sing. I'm not a singer. And I was gonna play the happy birthday song, but then I said they may block me. I'm scared of Facebook whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's birthday. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
I
That's Elder Jacob. When I tell you I love him, I love Elder Jacobs.
I'm like, it's birthday. I mean, it's to the point now I just be in the house and start screaming it out, and everybody just starts singing with me. So we love him, but we want to let you know that we love you over here at Keeping It Real in the Gospel. We love you at KRTG Radio. You have been I'll be honest, I've learned a lot, but I've learned mostly everything from you. And I'm not saying this because you're sitting here. I've said this on many platforms, and I'm going to continue to say it because you have to give your credit where credit is due, and we have to give flowers while people is alive.
Yeah, I appreciate
that if anyone is listening under the sound of my voice, if you ever want a person that's going to give it to you straight, no chaser, like someone said here, she's going to give it to you straight, no chaser. She's going to tell you what you need to do. She's correcting me. She said, I'll put stuff out, and she'll be like, she don't even go on my inbox. She go on the post. She's like, look, I'm going to chastise you and rebuke you right now. And I'll go in the inbox and say, da, da, da. She was like, well, da, da, so we've had these conversations where, well, you could do that in my inbox, like, I'm going to rebuke you right here. You go. So that's the relationship we have. I don't get offended. Like, oh my God, to me, so that, to me, that sounds like when she does that, like, listen, I got to care about you and you wrong. And we don't want you out here doing the wrong things and saying the wrong things. So
absolutely. And here's the thing, Kenya, because I've done it wrong. I have been one that popped off at the mouth. This may be that preach moment because it's always one when I do the interview, right? I was the one that didn't care. I would pop off at the mouth. I would express how I felt. Whatever it was, I would go on rants. Like I was doing tangents, and I literally rented myself out of then what would have been my biggest business opportunity. And my leader said to me, don't write a tweet that your future can't cash. Like I literally had someone who saw my future, not who I was. We'll always have an amen corner. And this is something that we have to realize as business owners. We have to get to the point that we stop using social media as our therapy sessions and actually hire a therapist. Like if it's that bad where you feel like you have to pop off, you need to hire you a therapist because the same people that you are popping off in front of, you want them to spend their money with you. Why should I spend my money with you when you don't even have discretion enough to know what you should and should not be posting? And you say that you are a business owner, which a lot of people don't understand. I don't care about the It's Lady Tamil Agency or the Lady Tamil Collective, We Here Now Music Group, Tactful Productions. I am the business. I am the brand. And so people have to want to connect to me. And then something else that we have to consider is we have to consider that nothing that we do or say on social media is just about us. It affects our community also. And there are some people who are being penalized because of who is by their side, quote unquote, cheering for them. Right. And so we have to learn how to conduct ourselves. And what I started doing was the people that I aspire to be, I looked at their social media activity and they wasn't acting a fool. They wasn't rallying for everybody. And because I am the one who, is the advocate for the misfit and the underdog, I'm going to war for people that's keeping their mouth shut about me. Yeah, that's not how that works. And so that change of perspective, where I always say, I don't want people to make the same mistakes that I did. I don't want people to blow it. I can't just pop off about the church and, it makes no sense. You don't have a strategy now. And this is da 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 da. But then I want those same people to come to my webinar to learn about a strategy. I can't demean and degrade someone and then expect someone to hear me. With love and kindness has he drawn. And if we are to be the Christ that people see in the earth realm, even how we conduct business, even when people are unbusinessable, I just made up a word, when they're unbusinessable with us, we still have to show forth the love of Christ. We still have to conduct ourselves as businesses. So the one thing that people is going to always say is they respect me. I don't care if you like me. You don't have to like me for us to work together, right? I'm not trying to be your best friend. I'm not trying to be your bosom buddies. That's covered already, right? We don't even have to bro and sister and do all that convention talk with one another to work together. What's the bottom line? Can I help you make money? Can I get you to the point of where you want to be? And then when people do the whole, well, why am I paying you to do what I can do for myself? Clearly, you can't get the results for you that I can get. And so I tell people all the time, I'm the person that everybody wants to know, but nobody wants to be. And when you take the time to establish yourself and you take the time to brand yourself, nothing and how nobody tries to label you will be able to stick, because people will say, no, she is very direct. Carmita said it, like she's going to shoot straight from the hip. But people know it's done in love, because ultimately I want to see you win. Even if that means you're winning without me being on your team. I don't ever have to be on your team to cheer for you. I just want to see you win. And so people that I see future, like you literally are supposed to have a rightful spot in your field of interest. You're supposed to have a rightful position in ministry. I will tell you to pull up real quick, because I've already been there. You don't have to make the same mistakes that I made in order to establish yourself as an expert or a professional in your field.
Right. And again, y'all just don't know, this girl is a wealth of knowledge. I love you, man. From the time I met you, I've met some people and they kind of reject it. And Carrie Drake says she got my life real quick. Oh, she gets me together too.
Who said that?
Carrie Drake.
Yeah, Jessica Rand.
You have been there, so I do want to thank you. And again, I do want to say happy birthday. I got you something. I just was waiting till tonight. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course, come on now. Listen, you check back now on every birthday hour.
Yes, ma'am.
You know that. So listen, I just want to thank you for coming on to the after party. I knew that it was going to be just all that, because you keep it real. Again, Dominique, I bring her on. I want to do a tour. So don't forget to do that. And it's called The Collective, right? If you have not gotten The Collective, I need you to buy it, stream it. I need you to go to Spotify. I need you to go to everywhere and listen to it. And I need you to go and make a review of it. That's just my shameless plug for The Collective.
And I appreciate it. The Collective, it's entitled Sustainer. It's a beautiful album cover. Like I said, you will see a 3D cross. And it almost looks like the old rugged cross. It always makes me think of that hymn with the rose petals that are around it. I am so, first of all, I'm honored to be working with such amazing creatives who just have a heart for community and artists and people. Like Dominique and Anthony are a jewel that if I have to have bosses, I don't mind having bosses like that. And so to see what it is that they've done. And like I said, from the intro, Roy Cotton, and that intro on down to the very last song, which is going to give you like a NOLA feel. There's a second line that's playing on it and, makes you want to pull out your umbrella and get your bounce on and all of that. Like the whole project is absolutely amazing. And it's like just a glimpse of what all is getting ready to come out of Vegan Bay this year.
I was going to try to share the sustainer with y'all, but I can't play with Facebook. I ain't playing with Facebook, y'all. I listen.
We're not playing. We don't want this to get censored or muted.
Listen. They will send you a text. You can't go live for 30 days, and I got a whole month worth of content and videos and shows. And like I said in my last video, we um starting May 1st. I'm doing the actual show. It's like the home shopping network.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom say stop using the black words. I said so it's a home shopping network for small business. So I can't afford to be blocked for 30 days. But I need you guys to go and get the project. I was looking for the cover so I can post it, but I can't find it within this time. But maybe you can share it.
Give me 1 second. Is it going to be at the bottom? Let me open up the cover. I will do it on my end.
Yeah, because I was like, no, like, wait a minute, I can't find the cover.
Nope, I got it. Just give me 1 second. We got a whole everything over here.
See, I know she know how to use StreamYard because she the one who introduced me to
it. I did. Let me close that. Okay, it just popped open. Give me 1 second, and then you can bring it up on the screen. There we go. The Collective Sustainer. That cover is amazing. Shout out to Blair Monique and BMO Designs. She helps to bring everything to life that we see and that they want. I just carry the news over to Blair, and Blair creates and Blair makes it happen. But that is the album cover that you are looking for on all of the DSPs, the digital streaming platforms. There's also a visual. Hear me. There's also a visual album that is out of the collective that was shot at the studio on the soundstage. Vincent Powell is the director. Ebony Powell is the producer of the visual album of this. So you literally get the full experience. And so if I can get,
she hung up on us. She'll be back. So listen, while she go out, I'm gonna run a commercial real quick for y'all. Y'all stay by, don't go nowhere. She must have did something to it. Hold on one second, I'm gonna run a commercial real quick.
Are you ready for your blessing? Are you ready for your miracle? Are you ready for your blessing? Are you ready for your miracle?
Told y'all she'll be right back.
Yep, I would be right back. So I actually accidentally hit leave the studio as opposed to close out the screen. I want to show, because I think the YouTube patching in, we should be good. But just the intro, because the intro it's an instrumental, right? Go figure. I'm pulling it up so that I can share it. It is on E1's channel.
I got this crazy idea. I thought, I'm going to just tune in with my guidance. I'm just going to follow that guidance no matter what.
Going through that. Let me do this. Let me share my screen again. Share screen. App. Did it play fully?
It's like, see, I have it. So it's like when you hear it, I have it, and I
Yeah.
listen to it in my van, and my van is kind of equipped with the speakers and everything, and I just be like, so to hear it here tonight, it just really just, I was like, wow.
Yeah, but that the visual album was um it was shot at the studio. So yeah, it's amazing what it is that they are and have built down there. I'm excited for them.
Well, again, I be sure to plug me in with her so that we can do a tour right here. I'll make her scream big and she can walk around and tell us everything's going on.
I
Cause
absolutely will.
yeah, so I love the project. I'm not saying that because I ride out to it. I was playing it the other day. I was like, oh man, this is good. Me, I have attention deficit thing, so I can never listen to a whole album. I have to pick the song I like and then roll it. But that is a project you can put on and just drive. Like I said, I commute every day for about an hour, one way, an hour another way. So
Yeah.
this is a project that you can just jam to.
Yes, ma'am. No, like I said, it's one that's close to my heart. I'm super excited, and it's just the beginning of what's to come out of the Vegan Bay family.
All right, Smith, I have kidnapped you for one whole hour.
You did, and I'm excited. Thank you so much for being on and inviting me to come back and hang out with you.
I think this is what your third time.
Yeah, this is my third time.
You just need to become a co-host. Just come on and just become a co-host and
Listen, let me know. I will absolutely come in. I could pop up and help you co-host a couple of times. Like I'm with it. Just let me know. We
because
will work into the schedule.
everybody knows that you just again you plug into you when you finish you're gonna be like these green lights that's in here. You're gonna be bright. So my prayer tonight is that Smoke and Mirrors come back
Mhm.
and everybody who else was saying, I mean, back in the comments in the beginning, everybody was like, smoke and mirrors. So everybody has touched and agreed with smoke and mirrors. So we're gonna we pray that you bring smoke and mirrors back because we loved it. And I love when you just say pop on. I'm like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning to me. I'm trying to sleep, but I'm gonna get up because I know
Listen, pop on with me because I got something to say. And usually, my insomniac is what it's called. It's an insomniac crew. Usually, when I'm on with them at that time of night, I'll delete the video. Like whatever happens in the moment, it happens. There have been some nights that just unexpectedly, not knowing someone had a financial need, and the people that came on trusted me enough and gave to the person and the need was met. Right. There have been ways that I've been able to connect people with who they need or just sharing what's in my heart, what's in my journey. But usually those are what I would call like the private public moments. And so once they're done, we cut it and we're good. If you wasn't there, you missed it. Catch you next go round.
you're not coming back tomorrow to see it. I went back and I'm like, where did it go? I said, oh, she deleted it. Because you want to go back and just like fill up on it, but she deleted it. But Smoke and Mirrors are still there because they're all in my memories. Listen, every time she went on Smoke and Mirrors, she was like, share the post. I shared it into groups, I shared it to people. So my thing is, and I'm just gonna say this, just my little rant. If you're not educated, it's your fault because I have shared Smoke and Mirrors everywhere and every time she's came on. So a lot of people that's like dumb. Remember you told me stop saying that when you don't. That's your fault. When
That's
you see it pop on, when you
because
see it pop on.
and the knowledge is there. So if you're not getting it, it's on you. Yep.
So listen, Tamil, I gotta go because I did 2 shows and I didn't take care of these sponsors and I need these people to make sure they keep putting money in the Zelle. So I
Yes.
gotta get up out of here to make sure these sponsors are taken care of. Inbox me the Cash App or Zelle so I can send you your birthday gift.
Yes,
Um,
and I'll send it to you now. I appreciate that. Thank you.
no problem. And just let me know when the next collective class is because You know, I'm excited. And if you do a smoke and mirrors, you be sure to say, I'm doing this because I was pressured by Kenya C. Wheeler out of Florida.
Well, listen, if you go look at Charles Butler's post yesterday of his stellar public voting, I looked and I was like, man. And so in my comment after congratulating him and said, I said, this almost makes me want to bring smoke and mirrors back. He was like, so we can cut up. And a few people saw that yesterday. And I'm like, wow, because here's the thing. There are some underdog stories of people that have made it to this public voting round. Case in point, Jason Claiborne has won Stellars as a songwriter. But we're talking about a journey of him as an actual artist, that this is the first time in years that Jason Claiborne as an artist has made the Stellar ballot, right? Like, people need to understand that. People look at Rich Tolbert like, you know, he's new. Where did this new kid come from? No. Rich has been around the gospel music industry, starting with Lavray and that whole journey. And then, you know, when he connected with JJ and just all of that and who he's written for, like, he's not new. And so I'm really thinking about setting something up and just rolling it out. I might do every day for 5 days and just have people on with me specifically to talk about this stellar journey and where they see the music industry headed and what it is that they plan to do as artists as it relates to that. So yeah, your wish might happen real soon.
And reminder, they need to be registered so that they can vote. Because a lot of people.
This is a public voting round now, so
it's public now, so we all can vote. But
yeah,
before that, there was that push of us who hold those licenses, you know, and yeah. So y'all do that. Y'all jump on that. So listen, I'm gonna leave you alone because we'll start talking. Last time we was here 2 hours. I'm not doing that with you tonight, Tamil. We're gonna let you go. Listen, you have a great one. And anytime you want to come here, you call me, and I will log on any time of day for you.
Yes, ma'am. It's done.
I can't do that no more because I'm in the studio. I got to drive to the studio. But let me know. Give me some warning. I'll drive to the studio and I'll log in for you.
Yes, ma'am. I will keep you as my go-to from now on. When I got something hot off the press, I'm coming to Kenya.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me sing you your birthday gift. All right, so listen, good night. I'll talk to you later. And listen, much love to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for the after party.
Listen, if y'all don't know Tamil Curtis, Lady Tamil Curtis, I need y'all to follow her. When I tell you everything that I've learned from her. Not learned from other people, but I'm going to just say this: majority of these things that I learned from her. So listen, I'm going to run these sponsorships down real quick. I got an inbox about my sponsorships. So listen, if you're looking to do your taxes and you haven't done your taxes, y'all contact Gillian & Co. She does more than just taxes. So we want to send a shout out to Sylvia Gillian of Gillian & Co. Also a natural seal. Listen, this is my favorite butter, y'all. When I tell you this right here, I'm not saying this because she paid for sponsorship and because she paid the cost of me to bud boss, but I have so much of butter. It comes in different flavors and smells. But listen, it really, I'll be ashy all the time. I'm an ashy person just for no reason. This is really good. A natural seal. And she has soaps that have like really clean my face, clean my daughter's face. We did a trial. So just to say this real quick, a natural seal, we did a trial. I say, Naya, use the soap for 30 days and then stop. She used the soap, her face got really clear. It's all natural. And then after that, all the things came back. So if you are looking for getting your skin and everything together, y'all, please contact a natural seal and she'll hook you up. Also, we want to send a shout out tonight to Crowns and Kisses Collection. Crowns and Kisses Collection. Though these are the earrings that I am wearing. Crowns and Kisses Collection. Again, they stopped by. They brought me a package of lip gloss. They brought me a package of earrings, anklets, hair ties, and things like that. So also, let me give a quick shout out to Turning Heads. Now, that is my little cousin Keisha of Turning Heads. She put me, y'all like my butterfly walk? My cousin said, Kenya, stop by, let me do your hair. It wasn't a stop by, it was like 3.5 hours, but stop by, let me get you right. So we want to send a shout out to my little cousin who came in and hooked the sister up. I love my hair. Also, we want to send a shout out to Cakes by Kathleen. Listen, she does all acrylic things, you know, the acrylic cupcake covers. Mother's Day is coming up, and you want something unique for your cupcakes, all acrylic. Please contact Cakes by Kathleen. I know I'm not showing the slide. Y'all forgive me. Cakes by Kathleen. And she does acrylic invitations. Anything acrylic that you would like, Cakes by Kathleen will take care of all those needs. So listen, I got to get ready to go. I done hung out with y'all. Oh, I look good. Oh, thank you. Gerard, I love you. Listen, oh, hold on. I ain't loaded. I am on the ballot for the Tampa Bay Gospel Awards. It's TampaBayGospelAwards.com for KRTG Radio. I need everybody up under the sound of my voice and on the replay. I need you to do me a favor. Stop by Tampa Bay Gospel Awards and vote for KRTG Radio. Also, I'm being honored for something. Gerard, repost that so I can brag about it. I'm being honored for something. It was a while ago he posted it. I'm going to have a repost so I can talk about it here next week on Keeping It Real in the Gospel. So again, we want to thank Lady T. Mill. If y'all want to send her a birthday gift and you haven't sent a birthday gift, she accepts all forms, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 and buy lunch. And she's in Texas, and y'all can buy lunch while she's there. So again, I want to say thank you to Lady T. Mill. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. I want to say, oh, it's the CEO Award of Excellence. That means I have to give me another hat. So I'll be in Tampa in October to receive my award, the CEO Award of Excellence. I'm come through. I'm wearing a dress and everything, Gerard. Be ready. Gerard, I'm wearing another dress. I gotta go, guys. It's 9 o'clock. I gotta go watch my show at 10 o'clock. Can't tell y'all the name because y'all church people be tripping about stuff. But anyway, thank you, Lady Tamil, for joining me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to all my proud sponsors, A Natural Seal, Gillian & Co., Cakes by Kathleen, and everybody that tuned in tonight for the after party. I'm going to see if I can get Tamil Curtis to come on once a month and just do an after party. We'll see. We'll talk to him. All right, I got to go. Deuces.